This is an Xbox One X, and it is redundant on all fronts. It sports a slow 1TB mechanical hard disk drive and displays games at 4K with upscale trickery and low frame rates depending on the game. But it got me thinking about something. I've reached a stage in my life where the noise of modern society is almost too much. Amongst the growing reliance on short bursts of dopamine through means of scrolling, for example, we're also now culturally expected to toss the old and embrace the new, even if it's growing more engineered to separate you from your money. Why does it feel like everything is about consume, where quality and value for money is no longer the priority? What if what we have is enough? Or what we could reasonably get for an affordable price is just as good as anything more expensive? Or what if owning and using something that isn't the best is just as satisfying? That's what I'm aiming to find out today. I have everything a modern gamer could want. A PS5, an Xbox Series X, a Nintendo Switch, an ROG Ally, and a great gaming PC. And now I've also got this Xbox One X. I paid $80 Australian for it, which sounds like a bargain, but let me be the first to tell you there were some serious drawbacks. The seller told me it worked fine, but it didn't. It didn't even load up the Xbox dashboard. See, it turned out the hard disk drive in it was completely shot. So I ordered a replacement one from CEX for $28. And this console was so dusty inside, I swore the seller used it in the desert. It smelled like smoke and oh, look at these dead bugs. What a sweet bonus. The new drive arrived and I did some computer wizardry to get it ready for its new home. And boom. There we have it, a working Xbox One X for $108 Australian or $72 USD. Now the controller was also in rough shape. I had a spare joystick, so I replaced the bad one and cleaned the controller right up. I didn't expect it to work. I thought it would have stick drift or something, but alas, it works just fine. Please note, this is lucky. A lot of the times if you buy a console in this condition off Marketplace, you're going to have more problems than this. So now we have the console, what about the games? Well, thankfully in 2025 we have access to Game Pass, but there are some limitations. Games like Expedition 33, Borderlands 4, or Doom the Dark Ages are not available for download to the Xbox One X. You can cloud stream them, but if you want a smoother experience, you can try shaving with a cheese grater. How does this console perform? Pretty good. In fact, I'd say really good. Sure, I can notice some resolution trickery in some games, with some scenery in the distance being noticeably blurry compared to the Series X, but in the heat of action, you really can't tell. The frame rate in some games is sometimes noticeably lower, but again, after a hard day's work, sitting down and just relaxing with the One X is a truly satisfying experience, even if the FPS does dip into the 40s. With Game Pass, you also have access to some upscaled classics, GoldenEye 007, Doom 64, and Black, for example. In terms of sheer content, you can't deny the value you get with it, even if you're effectively renting the experience. And maybe I'm getting old, but there's something hollow about having such easy access to so much. Looking at the hundreds of games on offer, it's easy to get paralysis analysis. It's hard to explain, but I feel more appreciation for the small collection of games I have on disc. It narrows down the options, and as a result, each game has its own value and presence. Does that make sense? Obviously, with Game Pass, we get Microsoft's exclusives to enjoy. With some games like Forza Motorsport or the Horizon series, only the latest entry is available for download. While the later entries may not be what the earlier games once were, they're reasonably decent games still. Although you do have access to the entire Halo and Gears of War catalogue. I understand the deal I got on my console was pretty uncommon, and as I mentioned earlier, needed more than basic repair for the average gamer. If you wanted to purchase the console in reasonably good condition with a warranty, you'd be looking at about $280 Australian delivered from CEX, or $150 to $200 on Facebook Marketplace if you want to chance that minefield. What if you want to own your own games? Well, as time goes on, more developers are abandoning the previous generation, so many Xbox One X compatible games will have to be bought pre-owned. Games vary greatly in price, but the library is massive right now. So for under $40, you can get a few truly amazing titles from resellers with warranty, or grab a bunch of them in a single deal off Facebook, again if you want to chance it. And we can't forget about the backwards compatibility, with some of the greatest Xbox 360 games getting a sweet 4K treatment. Fable 2, for example, looks truly beautiful with this level of clarity. If you were to invest in an Xbox One, I'd recommend you do two things. One, avoid the original Xbox One. They are severely underpowered, sport a measly 500GB hard disk drive, and your experience will be middling at best. The second thing I'd recommend is upgrading your console with a solid state drive because, oh boy, after the snappy experience of the Series X and PS5, the One X can feel like it's taken an eternity to load some games. But when it comes down to it, it feels like this generation was the last to be defined by its great games. The graphical leap between the Xbox 360 and the One X is the last true leap, and it seems we're only going to see marginal improvements from here on out. So to answer the questions I asked at the start of the video, if I had an Xbox One X, I'd be okay with that. In fact, I've still got it set up where the Series X was, and I haven't felt the need to swap them back. Yes, the Xbox One X is limited, and so is its library to a degree since most newer games are no longer getting released for it. But there's such a range of excellent games out there already that if you're willing to put up with installations and updates, it'll certainly scratch that gaming itch. But that's my opinion. I want to know what you think. Do you think the Xbox One X is the best value right now in 2025? Or do you think the Xbox One X represents a generation where the gaming industry took a horrible turn for the negative, where game developers started releasing unfinished games and relied too heavily on fixing them with patches later on? Or is this where game developers started charging us for features and benefits we would get in games on previous generations? Let me know what you think. I appreciate you watching. See ya.